Hi, mate.
Yeah, buddy. How are you?
How you doing?
Good. Thank you for joining.
No worries, man.
You hear me all okay? Yeah?
Yeah, all good.
Cool. Right, so first of all, explain both who you are and what you do, and then we'll just go straight into it.
So, James and Isaac, we're also known as Volex, house and techno DJ production duo from Leeds.
Cool. So how did it even all come together? How did you two meet, and then who came up with the name Volex and all that sort of stuff? Like how did it all happen?
So we had our first gig just over 3 years ago. So then we were playing with each other sort of back to back. Was it for about a year, 2 years?
Yeah.
And then we just decided to sort of make a duo, sort of try and make something out of it.
Yeah.
And then the name, we wanted something that looked good on a poster. So we came up with like the letters like Z's, V's, W's, Q's.
Yeah.
It stands out when you sort of see it. So yeah, James came up with Volex.
Yeah, it wasn't easy though, man. It's like we were sitting on like so many different names for ages, because to actually think of something that you're going to stick with that's like going to stand out when you see it like on a poster or like anywhere like online, or it's hard, it's difficult.
It is. It's probably the hardest bit. 'Cause at the end of the day, you want the name to be sticky. So like when people think about you, they want the name to resonate with something or just easy to remember.
Yeah.
I do get what you mean by that. How long have you been DJing, both of you, and how long have you been DJing together?
So I've been DJing since I was like really young. Like I got my first decks like when I was maybe 9, just doing like a pair of CD decks, like something really basic. And then when I got to about 16, I think, when I just left school, like I started to take it a bit more seriously.
Yeah.
My cousin was teaching me how to beat match and everything. And then it was when I was about just turning 18, that's when I started to get into clubs and like around like Leeds and where I'm from, and then picked up a couple of residencies, and then eventually a couple of years down the line then became a duo. Yeah.
So what was both of your first jobs in terms of when you first met each other? Where was it?
Oh, where were we?
Where were we? What were we doing?
Like in terms of DJing, what was you doing? Like where was you? What location was you at?
So it was a bit different for me. So I worked in a DJ shop in Leeds when I was about 15, 16.
Yeah.
So I've always sort of been into like DJing and sort of dance and house and stuff. But that's when I sort of really got into it, and then I got my first controller maybe a year after that.
Yeah.
I wasn't playing in clubs at that point. And then we've always sort of known each other, haven't we? Like sort of.
Yeah, a few years.
Yeah, but then we just got close, and then then as soon as we started getting together, we just started getting all the bookings, started playing a lot more clubs.
Yeah, it was as soon as we started like actually playing back to back together, just like not in clubs or anywhere, just like at home or anywhere like that. And it was like we kind of knew that when we were mixing, our styles like they're kind of different, but they're the same. If that makes sense. And that's what kind of makes it so, what's the word?
Different
and good, yeah.
Of course. So from there, you've just kind of just smashed it throughout, because you've done quite a lot to say. How long have you been together? 3 years, did you say?
No, well, we've been like officially together for just over a year.
Yeah.
But like playing sort of like back to back, maybe like just maybe
2 years, maybe. Yeah.
So that's crazy, and you progressed so quick since then. Like you've even had your first abroad booking. So explain to me how that was and how it came about. And is that more of what you want to do in the future?
Yeah, definitely. So that came about. So that was last year. That was actually my first time that we went to Ibiza.
Yeah.
Isaac's been quite a few times already. And it was just through a guy that we'd played for like previously. So it's all about networking, really. So he was hosting an event out there for the full summer, like living out there.
Mm-hmm.
And he just asked us, he was like, I want to book you guys to come out and play a few sets. So we went out last August. Yeah.
So is that kind of the route you want to go with more often? Try to get like more broad bookings and stuff like. 'Cause really and truly, there's a lot of big people in the broads, especially in Ibiza. There's a lot of people that you can network with and stuff like that. So is that the kind of place you want to be more often, and then obviously build your network from there?
It's about like making your foundation. Like obviously now for us, our main goal like at some point is to take it like full time. So like playing abroad and stuff is definitely something that is like sort of at the top of the list what we do.
100%.
Sick. Have you do you guys produce as well?
Yes, we do. Yeah.
So have you got any tracks out at the moment?
Yeah, we've got a track out with one of our friends, Kurt Lopez, called Precious, and it's out on You Do You Records.
That came out at the start of this one.
Yeah, start of May that came out, and it's being supported by MK, Generic, and a couple of other big DJs. And got played on Kiss FM actually not so long ago, so that was like our first proper radio play. And we've got a couple of other upcoming releases, but we can't really say too much about them just yet.
That's sick. So when it comes to stuff like that, how does that work? Do you end up, is it all independent and then you kind of sell the record to a label? Because you don't really hear much producers being signed by a label. Well, you do, but I know there's different ways of doing it as a producer. So what's the kind of route that you want to go down? Do you want to stay independent and kind of sell records to labels?
Like a lot of DJs will have like labels they want to release on.
Okay.
There's some DJs where they might release more on one label than another one. It's just like finding your sound and finding like what works best for you, because all DJs are be different and stuff. But for us, I think we just want to try release on as many as we can and try to
suited to us, really.
100%. So is each label different and tied to different things? Does that make sense? So say like if you made a house tune, you'd obviously target a certain label, and then compared to say if you made a, I don't know, like and I know you don't do R&B, but let's just say R&B, obviously you target someone different.
Oh, 100%, yeah, definitely.
I mean, there's hundreds of labels. Like say for like our genre of tech house, like you've got obviously like massive labels and quite smaller labels. They all have like different sounds and different DJ sound onto them. So I think it's just about finding like your sound you want to go down and sticking to that path.
100%. And is producing what you want to do more oftenly?
Yeah, 100%. Like now we've been doing it for quite a while now, but for the first half of the year we didn't really do it because we were just like getting bookings for club gigs, and then it was up until like we had a conversation where we were like, to take it to the next level, like this is what we have to do. So then like just ever since we've just been stuck in the studio, obviously the whole coronavirus thing, so we've just been doing Zoom sessions on like stuff.
I want to talk about the industry as well, because I can imagine being a DJ, it is a lot of pressure because you're playing to a big audience, so therefore you've got to play by how people are reacting to your mixes or whatever you're playing. So first of all, how do you even adapt to that, or how do you go into a club or like a gig that you're doing with that mindset of, right, well, I need to play by people's ear, or do you just go in and just do you and don't worry about it?
I mean, we never plan our sets. So you'll have like a sort of, like you might have a folder with some things that you know you might sort of play. But that's the good thing, like with the duo, because you can just sort of bounce off each other. So like he might play something and I think, oh, that might go well with what he's played, and then you just read how the crowd are and stuff. So I think it's just a bit of both.
You can sort of tell really, like as soon as you're in that environment and you can see like how the crowd is and how they're acting to what you're playing. You sort of like just go into like autopilot and you don't even realise what you're playing.
Have you had any gigs where it's like you're struggling a bit? I wouldn't say that's flopped, because I've never been to a gig where you flopped at all, like you smash it all the time. But has there ever been a point where you're like, shit, well, it's not planning out too well here? Or any funny stories?
Like some weird places.
When we first started, we played at a couple of, I don't really know what the word is, but
not really, not where it sort of flopped. I can't really think of any.
Nah, not really.
I guess it's quite hard as a DJ to do anything that flops, I guess.
Yeah. The thing
it is a tough industry.
I was just going to say, the thing for us is like, no matter who we're playing in front of, it's always the same result, if you know what I mean. Like whether we're playing in front of, say, 500 or thousands, 2000s plus, it's always like the same. I think like with DJing, you should always treat it the same, like no matter who you're playing in front of.
Yeah,
that's true. It's very, very true. So what's the kind of route you want to go to then in terms of career-wise? Because there's not many duos out there in terms of DJs. So what's the kind of level you're trying to get at? Because obviously these massive festivals like Coachella and all these massive crazy festivals where there's just hundreds of thousands of people. Is that the kind of level you want to get at? Or...
Yeah. So like as I mentioned earlier, hopefully at some point we could take it full time. But we haven't really set like, obviously we've got, when we first started, we sort of made goals of like short term where we want to go. So we've got like long term goals for us, but we haven't like set a cap of like this is like how far.
Yeah.
That we just want to sort of just try smashing and just see like how good and how far we can get to.
Definitely.
It's the best way, not putting a cap on it, because then you're limiting yourself. So it's good that it's good that you're not doing that at all. So what's your inspirations going on that topic? So who inspires you?
I think we kind of both flow off like the same inspirations, really. Like just because his music's like so like alike and stuff. So
yeah, I'd
say DJ wise, like we listen to and we a lot of Salado. They're like a big duo from Manchester that tour globally and all that kind of stuff. And we actually played for Mint back in December, supporting them, and you filmed for us.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. That was like one of our biggest career steps, definitely.
So is that the kind of
that like I think we both like we just love music, so we both. It's not even just like dance and stuff. We both got like such a varied like music catalogue, and we'll just like listen to all different genres of music every day.
Yeah.
If you could work with one DJ, would it be? Apart from obviously you just mentioned, like.
What do you mean to like collab with and produce?
Yeah, I reckon more collab in terms of like producing as well and mixing together on all that sort of stuff. Like, who's the person you'd like to collab with the most?
For me, I'll probably say like Jamie Jones.
Yeah, I was going to say
someone like that. That's just he's at like the very, very top.
Yeah.
So like signing something onto his label would just be like be a dream.
Does he have his own label then?
Yeah. So even Pop Creations.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. I think for me maybe Michael Beebe would be quite cool as well. He's a top like global DJ now.
Yeah, I've heard of him, and I don't really know DJs that well. So I want to talk about motivations, because I know inspirations and motivations kind of can cross over a little bit, but more in terms of what do you tell yourself to keep yourself motivated?
It's a good question.
For me, I think it's because we've both sort of been like in this industry for quite a while. Like even before DJ, when we were going out and stuff and going to like raves and stuff, like seeing your favorite DJs and seeing like how they were doing. So I think for us starting off like when we first started last year, that was like a proper big motivation just to hit our small goals. And like to sort of get onto their level and see how we can do it too.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. When we first started, it really was like we only set like little smaller goals.
Yeah.
Obviously, you want to hit the big one straight away, but we kept it kind of like realistic to start off with, didn't we?
Yeah.
You got to be honest, you got to like humble yourself. But once you get to that point, and you get to it pretty quick as well, you're like, I need to make new goals now. So it's interesting, man. It's especially when because you're both obsessed with it. Every time I see you or whatever you're doing, it's something to do with music. So when you have that obsession, you end up reaching these targets way quicker than you even kind of could imagine.
Yeah, it's like when we put like our target of playing in Ibiza. Like we sort of said maybe 2 years. 2
years, wasn't it?
But then we'd sort of hit that by like the first 6 months.
6 months, yeah.
What I mean, like that's crazy, mate. That's crazy results.
Yeah, it was mad.
It's fucking crazy.
Really inspires you as well out there. That's my first like thing of it when I went out. It's like he said to me, it was like, oh, you'll know what I mean, like when you're there.
Yeah. Have you ever thought of like putting on your own gig or putting on your own event or like that? That's a big goal, isn't it?
Yeah. So actually, was it last year? It was. Yeah. Last year in July, we hosted one event, and I think it's probably like going to be the only one we ever do because we spoke about it for a while, and we had like a party. It's called A Bar Below, which is like opposite Boxing Headingley.
Yeah.
A small room can fit maybe what?
Like 50
people.
Really? Jeez.
Marketed it quite well, and I think like over 120 people were there. They had to like stop letting people in at one point because it was just we didn't know what was going to happen, like what the reaction was going to be like. But we thought we'll try it, see how it goes, and it was mad.
That's sick. Was that ticket sales as well, or was that just kind of like?
Just a free party.
Yeah.
Okay. We've never done anything like that together, or even separately. So we just thought, like, why not just try it out?
Yeah.
But I feel like the promotion side isn't sort of where we want to go down and sort of holding our own events. Like some DJs do pretty well with it.
Yeah.
And market it well, like in Leeds. But that's not the sort of route that we want to go down together.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But I think that's a good thing that you did. Go on. Sorry, bro.
Yeah, I was just saying it was cool to try it out though, to actually like host an event and see that side of it. And we had quite a few of our friends come down, so we had like Kurt, Goward and Charlie and a few others.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it was really good.
I was about to say, it's great exposure as well. Even though I know like it's for free, but you're getting your name out there, and I know it's only 120 people, but word of mouth's a strong thing. So like, you don't know, like I think I've said this a few times. You don't know who's going to be there, whether it's 5 people or 500. Like, end of the day, it could be someone massive that's watching you, so therefore it could take you to new levels.
Yeah, that's why it's good to perform, like, no matter who you're playing in front of.
Yeah.
You just don't know who's there listening to. So
yeah, I think that's what's helped us quite a lot, to be fair, just because of that's one of the main ways that we've been booked, like in the past, just through like promoters who've been stood in corner watching, and you don't know who they are. You know what I mean?
Of course.
But then they approach you afterwards and speak to you, and then it's good.
That's why you got to always do the best you can do, no matter what.
Yeah.
So, kind of wrapping it up a little bit, I just want to, ask if you have any advice for any people that are coming up, like new in the industry, because I feel like you don't really hear much advice, especially online, in terms of DJing. I might be wrong, but yeah, just anyone that's up and coming that really want to get into the nightlife or DJing or producing scene, especially with house. What would your advice be?
That's a good question. Do you want to start?
I'd say just try and network as much as you can.
Mm-hmm.
Network's such a big part of it. Because like I said, you don't know who like is listening to you or who knows who. So I think just going out and just meet as many people as you can. Creating a network.
Yeah. I'd say like if you kind of know what route you want to go down, say if you think I want to play for this event but I don't know how to get there. Yeah. Show up at the event every time there's an event on. Like he says, get to know the people, and then eventually like you sort of become a familiar face, and then just worming your way in I suppose, like when you're first starting, and it just kind of spreads out really.
100%.
Always stay true to what you want.
Yeah, 100%. And I think there's some key tips in here as well, especially with like doing free events. I think that's a great marketing strategy in terms of self-branding and all that type of stuff. So definitely, there's a lot of key tips in here that people should definitely write down and take note. Because
it's hard, man, because there's not that much advice out there. Like you say, it's really difficult. There's not much talent and up and coming producers. Like we get sent quite a lot of music now, and some of the music that you get sent from these people is like crazy level, like really good.
That's what I mean. I feel like everyone's so secretive about everything these days, especially because they're like, oh well, if I give this information, blah blah blah. But end of the day, there's loads of people have said it. There's enough to go around for everyone, and if you're helping people out, end of the day, you're going to have a good word of mouth because people are saying, oh well, these help me out, so thanks to them, blah 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 blah. So I think we just need to help each other out more than try to be sensitive on something, because I know my industry is the exact same, and it's pretty tough. But and trying to break that boundary. That's why I started this, so people can be transparent and just help other people out that are in the same industry.
Yeah, I didn't really know like what it'd be like for yourself, to be fair. Like with your
industry. Mate, it's tough, man. It's a tough industry, and not even just for the work side of things. It's for the people, because people have a massive ego that they just need to let go.
Yeah,
ego's a thing that kind of makes or ruins someone, and a lot of people, sadly, have a really bad ego in this industry, and it's not a bad thing. I guess it's a journey that they're trying to figure out, and people change over time. But it is a tough industry, and people always judge you and compare and all this sort of shit and put you down, but you just got to ignore it, I guess, and just crack on.
Yeah, like with us, like we're always like, just got to be polite all the time. Like we are very, like we're polite guys, you know what I mean? Like if you see us play, like there's a lot of DJs that'll be like, nah, don't want to talk to you, or stuff like that. But that's kind of the whole point of putting on a party or performing, really. So,
I don't get it, bro. I don't understand it. It don't cost anything to be nice and to be a decent person at the end of the day. Like, and we're all in the same boat. So if I can help someone out, I'm there to do it. I'm not there to shoot you down. So but yeah, thank you, boys. Appreciate you coming on.
No problem. Thanks for having us, man. Yeah, thanks for having us on.
No problem. I'll get you back on when you're doing like main shows and all that shit.
Thank you.
Take it easy. Peace.